there's talk of normies. I know they exist, but I think there's a lot less now after COVID and lockdowns, when everyone saw the government turn against them, and mothers widespread across the country saw their children literally attacked by the government, forced vaccinations, and people started waking up to the fact that, wait, this thing I've been buying into hates me, hates my children, and I have to. That's why RFK Jr. was so popular, and then through that, you see a ton of people saying, like, now they're looking into conspiracies, right?
People are more open to it, yes.
And I say conspiracies, I think it's history.
Right.
Conspiracy theorists are just historians, and these things we know our government's depraved. So I don't think I think a lot less people are like, I think a lot more people are open to the fact that our government is completely out of control and depraved and willing to do anything to hurt you to maintain power.
It's trending that way, and I think like the COVID era was a catalyst for like the more people that get social media and smartphones in their pocket, the more I think people are given so much information that it kind of forces you to critically think. Hopefully, that's the goal. That's what I hope.
You're also susceptible to bad information.
That's right.
With that too, and they weaponize that against you,
which I think helps feed conspiracy theories, whether it's Epstein or Bigfoot, whatever it may be.
Right.
You have all this different information coming at you.
Well, and it's becoming harder too for people, because there is so much information, for people harder than ever to differentiate what's legit and what's not. For instance, and I don't want to take us on a tangent here, but as someone who followed the Diddy saga closely, I'm amazed at how, and I believe that was a legit trial. And again, I don't think there was a big conspiracy there.
Comey, though?
I'm amazed. I just think she was incompetent. I'm amazed at how many people will say to me, though, yeah, but you had all of those celebrities going to those freak-offs. No, there were no celebrities who went to freak-offs. There have been a number of people who have filed shady lawsuits against Diddy, most of them by that scoundrel sleazebag lawyer Tony Busby, who have claimed that, oh yeah, I saw this celebrity here, but really what came out in that trial is really that there's really no there. And so my point is just that people are inundated now with so much information that it's very difficult for them to sort out what is just conspiratorial bunk and what is more valid.
People are so willing to believe anything they want. Like, you're talking about confirmation bias earlier. There were so many things coming out of the Diddy trial. Like, I had friends there too, and they were like getting hit up all the time, being like, was Prince there? Like, the ghost of Prince showed up or something, and they were hearing Prince recordings. Totally fake.
Right.
And people I really like were totally believe. They didn't even question the fact that it was fake.
Right.
I think everything's fake.
Right. Well, I mean, I saw
not just polls. Even the things I think are fake.
Well, I saw
clouds are definitely fake, Phil. Don't derail this conversation, Phil. That's what I do.
Anyway, I won't take us down the Diddy pathway. I've done some videos on that. People can check it out. But I'm just saying that I think it's always been true that it was hard for people to separate conspiracy from the truth. But now, because we're so inundated, it's like a constant. You scroll down Twitter and you're just inundated with all of these theories.
I just think conspiracy, that word, I hate that word, but I think that attitude within our government is the norm. You look at Gladio, Northwoods, Agent Orange, Gulf of Tonkin, all these things. That is the norm.
There's no question. When people get wrapped up with the term conspiracy is just multiple people getting together and talking about something.
Right. Conspiracy theory.
That's all it is. But when it comes to whether or not conspiracies are real, there's no question about whether or not conspiracies are real.
Sure.
I think the validity of the information is what's really the important thing. Whether or not there's whether you can find substantiated evidence, as opposed to just, I heard this guy talking about this and he said a bunch of other guys said that.
Right.
But I do want to bring it back to the topic of the show. What do you guys think this actually means for MAGA and the Republican Party going forward?
I think it's a total fracture. You're seeing the people who I think are intellectually dishonest, like Ben Shapiro, just falling by the wayside. Like, I don't think they have any value.
I have not been following him.
Anymore.
What is his response to all of this?
He's the normie. If you're talking about normies, he is the quintessential normie.
Nothing to see here?
But he's lost me since COVID.
So Shapiro's point is, look, I was open to the idea of, the ideas that have been presented here, right? So before the information started coming out from the current administration, he's like, I was open to these ideas, but I know Dan Bongino. I trust Kash Patel. I know them. And I guess he knows them personally. And he's like, this is what they say. So I'm going to believe them because I don't have any evidence to the contrary.
I also believe Pfizer.
Well, I mean,
there's a sentiment that with all the
point,
Trump...
the point is, he's just taking the story at face value. So
yeah. So what I want to say though is I think it's fractured people within MAGA, but I think you see a lot of, in my terms, I know there's people online saying the people in my life don't care about Epstein at all. That's not what I'm experiencing, but look at me and I'm crazy. I know a lot of crazy people. Take that into account. I think there's a lot of people coalescing around the Epstein story because they've always cared about it. People always hopefully care about children being harmed. And when you tie that to the government and possible blackmail, that's a very important thing. So I think I love seeing people coalesce around it online and offline, demanding stuff, even if it's in the face of this theory of like, trust the plan, bro. Trump's doing some 5D chess, which I don't really think. But if he does, I'd rather not be a political.
I'm tired of hearing about the 5D chess.
I'd rather not be a political pawn.
Well, there is some serious sentiment, I think, from the administration and a lot of people in MAGA that it's like look at all the wins. So this excuses this one blunder, but I think that's just a logical fallacy.
That would be.
It doesn't you don't get a free pass in real life. You're
Not
supposed to be good and just all the time.
Right.
You don't get to, and I think that was Trump's reaction. Was like that's why he insulted people and he got flustered. It was like,
I've done so much for you.
I've done so much. Are you really complaining about this?
Look what he's been through. I mean,
of course.
I totally understand. I'm not one of those people who's going to go burn my MAGA hat. I don't have a MAGA hat, but if I had one, I'm not going to burn it. I'm not someone who's going to denounce him publicly. I'll criticize him, and I support those wins. The steel, natural gas, that we are arresting pedophiles.
Nixon had the same complaint.
Right.
Nixon's like, I went to China. I normalized relations with China. I did this and that. Why do you care about this Watergate thing? Well, you can complain about it as much as you want, but
he's due for a redemption arc.
People care. Well, no, and I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying that politicians can complain as much as they, or commentators can bemoan as much as they want to the fact that this is at the moment overshadowing Trump's games. But that is the game. And Trump, by the way, he initially got into politics by trying to prove that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. So he's not really one to tell us what we should be interested in.
I want those papers. I mean, I'm with him.
And the more you tell people not to care about something, the more they're going to be coming for your throat.
But I really want to pull this back. What do you think it means for MAGA and for the Republican Party moving forward? We can talk about how all the mistakes that were made, and we've talked about that for an hour, and it's been covered ad nauseum by about every podcast in the past 6 months or whatever. What do you guys think this means for MAGA? Do you think that this is a coalition breaking issue, or do you think that at the end of the day people are going to say, well, he did do all these things that I do like, I don't like this, and the options are the Democrats? Do you think that people will stay home in the midterms? And now, keep in mind, the midterms are, there's a significantly lower turnout, and the people that go to the midterms are more politically plugged in than the average person. So, for lack of a better term, the normies generally stay home in the midterms. Or do you think that this is something where people will say, oh, even though it's bad and I don't like this, I'm still going to go out and vote for things that I think are actually better for me? Because at the end of the day, if you're MAGA, the policies that the Republicans are talking about are going to have a better effect on your life than the policies of the Democrats.
I mean, I personally, although I champion those wins from Trump, I feel like a lot of the joy has been superficial. I think people are suffering in this country. People are not having their paychecks are still being robbed. These taxes are coming out. The groceries are so expensive. Gas is so expensive. So if the economy does get better, I'm sure they'll go out to vote in the midterms. I do see a lot of, I don't want to say nihilism, but apathy amongst voters, and they're not really getting the wins. I mean, we're out here in the Panhandle. I know a lot of people who were fired by Doge who were Trump voters, and they don't understand why. And it's hard because I'm like, I wanted Doge to destroy the government, but I also have sympathy for people who don't understand why they lost their jobs and are replaced by AI that was made by a guy, who, well, don't get me started on Elon, so that's tough. I also think the left is activated now, more than they've been in a while in their hatred for Trump, like always, right? So you're gonna have to watch out for that. I think it would be. MAGA exists beyond just Trump, and the people who just worship Trump like cat turd, that's a problem. You shouldn't have a false idol, right?
Cat turd is really having a rough couple of weeks.
I I really can't stand that person. But like I thought he was ghostwriting a lot of Trump's Truth Social posts recently. But I think it would if Trump fails on the Epstein stuff, that is a big loss in my opinion, despite the wins, because of how I feel about the importance of the Epstein story within our government and the world. And it would be an indictment on Trump not being the wrecking ball that I think a lot of people voted for.
It's representative of a larger phenomenon.
Yes. Right. We thought he was going to go in there and obliterate the deep state, but I don't know if that's possible. You know, that is evil you're talking about, like legit evil. Right. I don't know if you can do that despite running on it.
It reminds me of that Oliver Stone movie, Nixon. It's a great movie. And there's an anecdote in there, which is actually based in fact, where Nixon would go to the Lincoln Memorial in the middle of the night to talk to protesters. And there's this great scene, you probably know it, where he's talking to one of the girls, female protesters. And she says, he basically says, I'm trying to tame the system. I'm trying to make it do some good. And she's like, you can't control it, can you? And he has this epiphany and he's like, she was right, you know. And I want to say one other thing too, that I think is also going on with right now with this anger from MAGA at Trump. I think that there are a number of Trump supporters, MAGA people, who have gotten tired of over the years being told that they are just mindless followers in a cult. And I think that consciously or unconsciously, this is offering people the opportunity to say, see, I'm not in a cult. Right. I'm not blindly obedient. I have a problem with this Epstein stuff. And I see people online who seem to be, and I'm not saying this is wrong, it's understandable, seem to be reveling in the opportunity to take a stand against Trump, to show. Right. I just think that's a side benefit of it in a way that people may not be aware of, but I think that's going on as well.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.